Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So for those who don't know me, my name's Queenie. If you're one of my subscribers, thank you for tuning back in. Thank you for your support. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about 8 different ways in which you can stay positive during this lockdown. I know if you're like me, when Boris announced that we're going to have another lockdown, you were like,
joking. Not another one? Oh, for God's sake.
But I've put together ways in which you can stay positive. So if that's something that you'd like to see, stay tuned. So my first way in which you can stay positive is by making sure you structure your day. So I know that when you are off work, it's very easy to kind of stay in bed all day, do nothing, get out of bed whenever you like, and click on to Netflix and just watch hours of your favourite show. And whilst that might be fun for about 2 to 3 days, by day 5 you're just like, I'm so bored. However, if you structure your day as you would if you were going to work, so for example having a time to wake up, getting in the shower, having breakfast, you can do some chores, watch a couple of episodes but make sure you don't binge on those episodes, and where possible even go for walks. If you do these kind of things, it kind of gives you some sort of purpose. You'll be awake to do stuff. And this brings me on to point number 2. Point number 2 is get active. It is very important to stay active, and there's actually a science behind this, because when you do exercise and stay active, it releases happy hormones such as endorphins, adrenaline and dopamine. These 3 hormones that the brain releases are associated with feeling happy, feeling confident, feeling capable and feeling less anxiety and stress. So it's very important to stay active. So you can do that simply by putting on your favourite exercise video on YouTube. I know in the first lockdown a lot of people were into doing like the Chloe Ting challenge, or my personal favourite is just sticking on Just Dance and just putting on the favourite tunes and dance moves on there and just, doing that for a couple of hours. So another way that you can stay positive during this lockdown is by talking to your friends and family. Now I know as tempting as it might be to just lock yourself away from the world, it is really important that you don't do this for your own mental health. Call your friends at least twice a week, meet up over Zoom. Those Zoom quizzes that we're always getting invites to are a really good way of staying connected to people, just having a chat and basically just acting as if you were with those people, because as humans we are an interdependent people. We aren't meant to be on our own. We are meant to be in a group of people. So when you are self-isolated, it can really put a damper on your mood. So it's really important to keep in touch with your family, your friends, do your Zoom, your FaceTime calls, whatever you need to do, just stay connected to people. Another way is by giving yourself a challenge. So by challenge, I mean things like learning another language, reading a book or a couple of books if you're a little bookworm, learning a new instrument, cooking. All of these things are things that you can keep yourself occupied with. For example, you can decide that you're going to read a couple of chapters a day, or you're going to, learn a few words a day. This is really important because it gives you a sense of accomplishment when you come out of lockdown, rather than thinking to yourself, well, that was a complete waste of time. So give yourself a challenge, learn new hobbies, learn a new language, something that will make you feel accomplished. So this next tip is one of my favourite things to do, and that is practicing self-care. So by self-care I mean, running yourself a bubble bath, burning nice scented candles, having a dance party with your friends and your family over Zoom, over FaceTime, or on your own. You don't even have to be with people, you can do it on your own. Things like baking is something that you might enjoy as well, especially as you get to eat your goodies at the end. It's really, really important to practice self-care, because once again it releases happy hormones in your body and it keeps you from thinking about the negative parts of being in a lockdown. So another tip that I'd like to share is what I'd like to call a digital detox. So by digital detox, what I mean is being very conscious about what you are consuming online. It is really important to maybe not keep looking on the news so much for updates about corona, because what might end up happening is you just make yourself feel down. It kind of makes you think about negative things, and that's something that you don't really want to do, especially if you're in isolation. Another important thing is do not compare your version of lockdown to someone else's version of lockdown. You've got to focus on yourself and bettering yourself. What other people are doing should not be something that you rate yourself against, but especially when it comes to lockdown, because everybody's story is different and you can't compare yourself with somebody else. So that kind of moves in nicely to my next point, is positive thinking. Now this is really, really important, and it's something that I personally like to do. So by positive thinking, you know, I would do things such as plan what I'm going to do when lockdown finishes. You know, where am I going to travel? What am I going to see? Think of all the different things that you liked to do before Corona, so pre-March 2020. You know, things like traveling, dining out with your friends, even seeing your grandma, you know, people that are vulnerable that you haven't been able to see. Just keep thinking about how it's going to make you feel when you do get to do those things. And when you think positive, you feel positive. And again, it goes back to releasing happy hormones in your body. So my final way in which you can stay positive in lockdown is start a hobby or start a small business. Now I know that it seems very difficult to start, you know, a small business or to start a hobby, but there's no time like the present. Now that we're in lockdown, we've all got a little bit more time on our hands. So in the first lockdown, you know, we saw a boom of businesses making face masks. We saw people making and selling their art. People like myself started YouTube. People were making candles, jewelry making. You know, there's a wealth of information out there on the internet on different businesses that you can start while in lockdown. Because again, it will make you feel accomplished. When you come out on the other side of lockdown, you're going to think, wow, I accomplished this. I started here and this is where I am now. So these are the ways in which I think we can stay positive during lockdown. If you have any more tips that you think might be useful, feel free to drop me a comment. Let me see, let me try and incorporate it into my life as well. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn on that notification button. Everybody who has supported me so far, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.